Think about the last time you met someone new. Before you even finished your first sentence, they had already started forming an opinion about you. Your voice, your tone, your choice of words, all of these details sent subtle yet powerful messages about your personality, your confidence, and even your background. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why do you speak the way you do? Why do you naturally gravitate towards certain phrases, certain tones, certain rhythms? And more importantly, what does your way of speaking reveal about you that you may not even be aware of? Most people assume that the way they speak is just a natural extension of who they are, something that comes automatically. But what if I told you that your speech, your words, your accent, your intonations are actually shaped by forces far beyond your conscious control? That the way you express yourself has been molded over years, even decades, by invisible influences, hidden biases, and social expectations. In this video, we will uncover the psychological and social forces that shape the way you speak and ultimately shape the way the world perceives you. And at the end, we will reveal the most powerful insight of all, one that has the potential to change how you use your voice, not just to communicate, but to influence, to connect, and to transform your own self-perception. Language is not just a tool for sharing information, it is a reflection of who you are. Your voice carries the weight of your personal history, your environment, your emotions, and even your subconscious beliefs. It is, in a way, a fingerprint, unique, complex, and revealing. The words you choose, the pace at which you speak, the way your voice rises and falls, all of these elements contain subtle yet profound clues about your personality, your confidence, and your place in the world. Linguists and psychologists have long studied how speech patterns form and evolve. Noam Chomsky, one of the most influential figures in modern linguistics, proposed that language is not merely something we learn, it is something ingrained in us, a fundamental part of human cognition. However, while we may be born with the ability to speak, the way we actually use language is shaped almost entirely by our environment. From the moment you begin to speak as a child, your voice is being shaped by those around you. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, even the television shows and music you listen to, all play a role in sculpting your speech patterns. But beyond simple imitation, something even more powerful is at work: social identity. Your speech is not just a reflection of your thoughts, it is a signal to the world about who you are and where you belong. Whether you realize it or not, the way you speak acts as a social marker, instantly categorizing you in the minds of others. It can reveal your level of education, your place of origin, your social status, and even your ambitions. Have you ever noticed how your tone, vocabulary, or accent shifts depending on who you're talking to? Perhaps when speaking with close friends, your speech is relaxed, filled with slang or inside jokes. But when you're in a professional setting, your voice naturally becomes more formal, more structured. This phenomenon, known as code switching, is a fundamental part of human communication. It allows us to adapt, to fit in, to navigate different social circles with ease. But here's where things get truly fascinating. This adaptation happens almost entirely on a subconscious level. You may not even realize you're doing it. Scientists have found that even minor changes in a conversation partner's accent or tone can subtly influence the way we speak, often in real time. It is as if our brains are constantly adjusting, constantly recalibrating, ensuring that our speech aligns with the social cues around us. However, this also means that your speech is not entirely your own. The way you express yourself has been shaped by countless external forces, by the expectations of your family, the norms of your culture, the pressures of your social group. And yet, despite all these influences, most people go through life without ever questioning or even noticing them. But what if you did? What if you became fully aware of these hidden influences? What if you could take control of them, shaping your own way of speaking in a way that strengthens your confidence, enhances your presence, and amplifies your ability to connect with others? The truth is, your voice is one of the most powerful tools you possess. It can inspire, it can command attention, it can establish authority, but it can also betray insecurity, hesitation, or self-doubt. The way you speak does not just affect how others perceive you, it affects how you perceive yourself. And here's something even more profound. The words you use can actually shape your thoughts and emotions. Studies in cognitive psychology have shown that language is not just a tool for describing reality, it is a tool for constructing it. The words you choose influence your mindset, your emotions, and even your behavior. For example, simply shifting from saying, "I have to do this" to "I get to do this" can completely change the way you approach a task. One phrase implies burden, while the other implies opportunity. This means that by becoming aware of your speech patterns, you can begin to reshape them, not just to improve how others see you, but to transform the way you see yourself. So I invite you to reflect. Have you ever paid attention to the way you speak? Not just the words you use, but the tone, the rhythm, the energy behind them? If you were to listen to a recording of yourself, what would it reveal? Would it show confidence or hesitation, clarity or uncertainty, presence or invisibility? In the next part, we will go even deeper. We will explore the hidden psychological cues in your voice, those unconscious signals that determine whether people trust you, respect you, or even listen to you at all. And most importantly, we will reveal the practical strategies that can help you master the power of your own voice, turning it into one of your greatest assets. Are you ready to unlock the full potential of your speech? Imagine walking into a room where no one knows you. You haven't even introduced yourself, but within seconds people are forming judgments. They hear your voice and suddenly assumptions start to take shape. Are you confident or uncertain? Are you educated or unrefined? Are you someone to be taken seriously, or are you easily dismissed? This may sound unfair, but it is a reality deeply embedded in human psychology. Our brains are wired to make quick assessments based on sound, tone, and rhythm. Studies in neuroscience have shown that we process vocal cues almost instantaneously, often forming impressions within milliseconds of hearing someone speak. But here's the fascinating part. These judgments are not always based on the actual words being spoken. Instead, they are shaped by the way those words are delivered. Have you ever noticed how two people can say the exact same sentence, yet one captivates an audience, while the other fades into the background? The difference lies in the unspoken elements of speech: intonation, pitch, pace, and even subtle vocal vibrations that communicate authority, warmth, or hesitation. Take, for example, the concept of vocal presence. This is the ability to command attention simply by speaking. People with strong vocal presence tend to speak with clarity, control, and intentionality. Their voices are steady, their pauses are deliberate, and their tone carries a natural sense of confidence. On the other hand, those who lack vocal presence often speak with uncertainty, using filler words, trailing off at the end of sentences, or adopting a hesitant, breathy tone. Psychologists call this paralinguistic communication, the messages we send through voice alone, beyond the words themselves. Research suggests that people with lower-pitched voices are often perceived as more authoritative and competent. This is why many public speakers, leaders, and even actors train their voices to be more resonant and controlled. But here's something even more intriguing. Your voice doesn't just influence how others perceive you, it influences how you perceive yourself. Studies on self-perception theory suggest that the way we present ourselves externally can actually shape our internal beliefs. In other words, if you train yourself to speak with confidence, your brain starts to believe that you are confident. This is why techniques like voice coaching and breath control can have such a profound impact on self-esteem and personal power. So, how can you develop a voice that naturally commands attention? The first step is awareness. Pay close attention to how you speak in different situations. Do you tend to rush through your words? Do you use filler words like and excessively? Do you end your sentences with an upward inflection, making statements sound like questions? One simple yet powerful exercise is to practice slowing down your speech. Studies have shown that speakers who pause intentionally between thoughts are perceived as more thoughtful and credible. This is because a controlled pace signals confidence, while rushed speech often conveys nervousness or insecurity. Another key factor is vocal resonance. Have you ever noticed that some voices seem to carry more weight, while others sound weak or strained? This has a lot to do with breath control. Many people unknowingly speak from their throat, producing a thin, constricted voice. But when you engage your diaphragm, allowing your breath to support your words, you create a fuller, richer sound that naturally commands attention. A fascinating example of this comes from history. Winston Churchill, one of the most influential speakers of the 20th century, was not born with a powerful voice. In fact, He struggled with speech impediments in his early years, but through relentless practice, focusing on pacing, projection, and articulation, he transformed his voice into one of the most commanding and memorable in history. The same principle applies today. Whether you're leading a meeting, making a presentation, or simply engaging in everyday conversation, your voice is a crucial tool in shaping how you are perceived. And the best part? It's a skill that can be developed. But beyond individual speech patterns, there's an even deeper layer to consider: how society shapes our expectations of certain voices. Throughout history, certain speech styles have been associated with power, while others have been marginalized. Accents, dialects, and vocal characteristics often carry cultural and social connotations that affect the way we judge others. For example, research has shown that people with certain regional accents may be perceived as more trustworthy or approachable, while others may be unfairly judged as less competent or authoritative. These biases are deeply ingrained and often operate at a subconscious level. In fact, studies on linguistic discrimination reveal that people frequently make hiring decisions, legal judgments, and even social preferences based on nothing more than how a person sounds. This raises an important question: how much of your voice is truly yours, and how much of it has been shaped by societal expectations? Do you speak the way you do because it feels natural, or because at some point you learned that it was the acceptable or preferred way to speak? Reflect on this. Have you ever changed the way you speak in order to fit in, to gain approval, or to avoid judgment? Have you ever felt the need to adjust your accent, soften your tone, or modify your vocabulary, depending on who you are speaking to? This leads us to a powerful realization. While we all have natural speech tendencies, we also have the ability to consciously shape the way we speak.